What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Garage Gang podcast, where we bring you nothing but the best in podcast gold. To my right, I got Aaron Gutierrez. To my left, Joseph Anthony Medeiros. I'm Ken Knutson. Very special guest today. We are joined by mine and Aaron's former PE teacher. He is a member of the California Wrestling Hall of Fame. He is a three-time Olympic qualifier, right?
Yeah.
His name is Mr. Joe Dansby. Welcome to the pod, my man.
Dansby, what's up?
What's up?
Love to be here. Loving to be here right now.
Yeah, we're stoked to have you.
Glad we got you on. I'm glad this all worked out tonight.
How's life?
Life?
For you with Rona being a teacher and doing all that.
Well, I know I'm a PE teacher, but the old the Rona 10 pounds came on still. Got me too.
The whole quarantine 15, huh?
Yeah, the whole quarantine 15. That's what I'm blaming mine on, except mine is like 50. But
we've gained a little bit of weight since we had you as a teacher.
Yeah.
See what happened when you left me? When you leave
that's
me?
what I'm saying.
I mean,
Good stuff. It
we're
looks good.
still damn good looking people, but I mean,
Just put on some LBs.
we're fluffier, so it's all good, my man. So that's good. I'm glad everything's going well with you. That's the main thing during these times. Well, let's get right into it, my man. Where did you grew up in the Monterey area, correct?
Yes, sir. Yep. At Pebble Beach. Yep.
Pebble Beach.
Pebble Beach. Grew up was born in Monterey, and then we moved to Pebble Beach when I was about 6 years old, and then left just to go to Cal Poly. Horrible Cal Poly, right?
Horrible Cal Poly.
Terrible.
No, man.
You've really lived in some crappy places.
I did. I was suffering. I'm suffering.
My gosh. Because we saw Pebble Beach, and I'm like,
Yeah.
well, that's a pretty sweet place to have grown up. Like, my gosh, that's
Never went golfing though.
Really?
Never went golfing. Not till I was in college. Crazy,
Wow.
huh?
Wow.
That is kind of crazy. I thought it was like a way of life up there.
Well, you got to shoot it. You got to shoot at least an 80, I guess, to play there. And that's
Yeah.
I'm just about 25 strokes off.
Yeah, right.
I'll shoot like a 180.
I'm about 50 on a 12-hole course.
Yeah.
12-hole par 3 course.
Sadly enough.
Well, what was life like in the Monterey area? What did you like about where you grew up? Give us a little bit of insight over there, man.
Monterey is a good area. It's a lot like San Luis Obispo. Tourist town, fairly small. We get probably a little more tourists over in Monterey, just to see the aquarium and hit up 17-mile drive and go into Carmel and hit up Big Sur. Little bit faster pace, but man, the weather's so much nicer in San Luis Obispo.
Yeah.
It was an easy switch, really easy.
I bet. Man.
Do you have any siblings?
I have one. I wrestled at Cal Poly, and then my sister, who's 10 years younger than me, she played softball for Cal Poly. So I remember when I was 10 years old, and I was so excited because I was by myself, for 10 years. I was like, yeah, I'm going to have somebody to play with. And she came out, and I'm like, what the heck is this?
Yeah, what am I going to do with you?
What am I going to do with you? You can't even hold your neck up. Had to wait a few years before she could throw the ball and stuff like that. But I think by the time she was 10, she could throw the ball harder than I could.
There you go, man. Yeah, I was like, Aaron was. Well, we were kind of going over the episode, a little loose format action the other day, and he was like, "Hey, does Dansby have any siblings or anything like that?" I was like, I don't really know. I'm not really sure. I mean, it's be good to get to know you on that basis, Mike.
That was something that we never even knew growing up. I guess you don't really know much about your teachers growing up.
Yeah.
I'm always surprised to find out the first names of my teachers. You know what I mean? That was always one of those things where you're like, wait, your name's Brad or what?
It still feels weird. I'm calling you by your last name.
Mr. and Mrs. and Miss.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's weird once you get to like the age where you kind of like feel weird calling them Miss or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like
It's like early 20s, like 19 to like 23 or 21. I feel like after 21, once you can have a beer with them, like it's
Absolutely.
all good.
Yeah.
That's about right.
Yeah.
That's about right time right there.
Yeah.
I know, because we were messaging back and forth, and a couple of the times I started off with Joe, I was like, okay, cool. I'm trying to wean myself off the Mr. Dansby thing, but it's all either way. It's a form of respect. You know?
Absolutely.
You know, respect your team.
I think I saw you at a football tailgate
Yes.
maybe a couple years
You
ago.
did.
Oh, yeah.
You came out with the Mr. Dansby again and Mr. Norlock. I believe.
Well,
Yeah.
of course, man. I got the ultimate respect, especially for you guys, because being PE, I was your
Right.
TA for 2 years, 7th and 8th grade too. So it was like that. Yeah, actually, we were just talking about that
Yeah.
too. I was like, you've actually met Mr. Dansby at the tailgate.
At the tailgate, yeah.
on,
I don't think I remember it as
we were
much,
a
but
little-
Yeah.
we were a little liquored up before the game, but
I probably reminded you right now.
just jogged my memory.
yeah, we talked about that. That was an interesting game right there. To say
So-
the least.
I'm curious to know, like, you have a background in wrestling. When did you discover wrestling? When did you kind of start, doing that? Was it as a kid, teenager? Like, what kind of brought you into that?
Oh, I definitely started in today's world late. Yeah, definitely late. I did it in PE in 8th grade.
Oh, really?
And I'm not gonna lie, I always used to like to scrap. So I mean, if you want to count
Yeah.
the middle school and elementary school scraps, I don't count those though.
Yeah.
We'll count the ones with the referee and stuff.
Yeah.
But I started in 8th grade. The PE teacher kind of took a look at me, and it was a real quick 2-week units, and so the wrestling season had already started at the middle school. And he took a look at me in PE class, and he says, "Hey, you know what?" He looked at my size and everything. He goes, "We need your weight class. We could use you." And I'm like, "Well, we been doing this for about 7 days. The season's been going on for 2 months for those guys." So he goes, "Oh, we need your weight. You think you'll do it?" Sure, I'll try it. And so lo and behold, he had me wrestle off. He goes, "I want day 2. This is day 2 of practice." He goes, "Hey, you need to wrestle off this guy. And if you win, you can go your weight class. And if you lose, you can go up a weight because we need that weight class too." So we went into triple overtime, and he beat me. And then they weighed us in, and he goes, "Dude, I didn't know you were I was like 15 pounds lighter than that guy."
Yeah.
And you went into triple overtime.
Yeah, that's impressive.
We went into triple overtime. So that was my
With the least-
experience.
With the least bit of experience.
Second match, I was up 10-0 and I got pinned. And then I took second at the Little League Championship. So that was all in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Second at that, and then what I got out of those 2 weeks of wrestling was in high school. I tried out for basketball,
Are you serious?
and you probably know what happened.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
imagine.
Got dunked on. I don't know.
The basketball career didn't work out too well, so the wrestling coach found me.
Yeah.
I'd like to say you did
Yeah.
pretty darn good in wrestling, though.
Yeah.
It worked out.
Definitely got
you
more
have
of the
to
wrestling
gravitate
build.
to it. You got to take your licks for sure, more so than any other sport I've ever done.
Absolutely. I love hearing about these. Like you said a couple minutes ago, you like to scrap. And I love hearing about these. These people, these kids at an early age. They're like, I was a fighter. I was a scrapper. Just needed the discipline. Just needed the discipline. And whether either you went to wrestling or MMA, I mean that was a way to get it out and to learn that form of discipline. When to use it, how to use it.
It's a pretty common thread with a lot of fighters that
Yeah.
a lot of them say yo, if I wasn't doing this, I'd probably be in jail. I'm not saying that's your situation, but a lot of them say, it's helped me keep me out of fights. I'm getting paid to fight now. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, and then just the discipline of it all, and having focus, and then having learning how to lose.
Yeah.
and it being okay.
Exactly.
To lose and grow from loss, I think is huge. And I've done, since I've been in middle school for 20 some odd years. I've coached wrestling every year at the middle school level, and it's so interesting, all the different types of kids that gravitate, girls, boys, your 4.0s, your 1.0s, all ethnicities that gravitate to the sport. And MMA is huge too. I mean, that's brought a new level to wrestling also, with all those, a lot of those MMA champions have a good wrestling or somewhat of a wrestling background.
Right.
Some of them a great wrestling background.
Yeah.
So.
You kind of got to, especially in today's time where they are starting young, they're starting a lot younger, especially in MMA. Now today it's become mainstream. And that being said, you got to have every facet of your game, You got to know a little about a lot, essentially, because they're just going to take you down. You could be a boxer, you can have the greatest, boxing technique ever, but as soon as they get that single leg or double leg on you, you don't know, you're a fish out of water on the ground.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, I would without my mother's approval, I would have totally done it if they had weight classes back when I came out of Cal Poly. I would have totally have done it. Just the weight classes weren't there, so
really
didn't bode well for me.
That'd have been interesting to see, though.
Well, they were calling Royce Gracie, the small, and I'm like, yeah, he's small compared to these 280, 300 pounders, but I'm going, he's still probably 185 pounds. I'm 120.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And they were calling him small, at the time.
Well, do they have a weight class that is like 120 now? Like what is that?
125, yeah.
125, okay.
I believe it's a flyweight.
Flyweight.
Yeah.
I love all these new divisions that are not new, but like they're incorporating. Especially, I'm thinking UFC and stuff like that. You see because
Right.
more people, it's becoming mainstream. Like I
Absolutely.
said, and they're needing especially with the women's side of the mat, and it's just becoming crazy, man. Super
Women's is really
popular.
fun to watch. I love watching women's fights. Those chicks are crazy.
Kind of scary, actually. I kind of get scared.
Yeah, I know. I see some amazing women fights.
Oh, yeah.
It's insane. And even around here, actually, women's wrestling's pretty popular around here.
Yeah.
With Napomo and Pioneer Valley, and I'm not really sure what else, but I know Napomo and Pioneer Valley and a couple other schools. Usually, probably Morro Bay. They usually have a pretty good wrestling program. But
we have over here at the middle school, Mason Middle School. It's almost getting close to 50-50.
Wow.
Really?
For boys and girls. It's around 60-40.
Wow, that's
65,
amazing.
35, 60-40, right around there.
and correct me if I'm wrong. It's basketball season, right? It's winter sports.
Yeah.
For middle school,
school?
it's a spring sport.
Okay,
But
gotcha.
in high school, it's a winter sport. You are correct.
That's
So
probably
we
good
definitely lose some kids to soccer. And
That's probably good for middle school because obviously baseball. That's like baseball time, and
Right.
That's I'm sure you could probably get a little bit more students doing that.
So other than
I can
wrestling,
work around it.
did you play any other sports in school?
High school, I played football, wrestling. I did cross country just my senior year, just because I figured what the direction of football was not gonna cut it. It was gonna be wrestling.
Yeah.
So I did cross country just my senior year to get in a little bit better shape, keep the weight down.
Gotcha.
And then I played baseball for a long time.
Oh, there you go.
That was tough to give up because I was going too long in wrestling.
Right.
The season was going way too long for me to even get to make it to tryouts and those types of things.
Right.
And then so that my last year of high school, I did track and field for fun. I needed to be honest. I tell the middle school kids this. I did track my senior year just so I could meet some more girls.
Yeah. The meets looked pretty fun. You
Yeah.
know, I gotta say, even in middle school back in the day, I was
the
like,
bus
that's kind of
rides.
cool.
Well, I gotta say, cross country looks like the most just the worst sport to freaking play.
Yeah.
I gotta say,
It's just tough.
It's just long running.
I ran cross country my sophomore year
Whoa.
to get in shape for baseball.
Did you know about that?
And that's
No.
I did not know about that.
that's a stat that is.
I am not a distance runner.
I lived with this guy for 3.5 years. Been friends for what, like 7
Yeah.
now? No, five or 6. And I didn't know that about you. That's kind of cool. So Dansby, what high school did you go to?
I went to Palma High School in Salinas. It's
Okay.
a small Catholic school. Pretty good football program. They're pretty reputable football program, but small school, about 300 boys and 100 junior high kids.
Okay.
Right across the street was an all-girls school, about 600.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the reason why I asked it, because I saw it said Palma School, just Palma School, and I was kind of like thrown off by that. I was like, it's gotta be.
Is that
it's
like
gotta
Delta?
Be Catholic. Is that like Delta? Lopez? What? No, but that's.
Sorry to disappoint. I went to the Catholic school, man. My mom had control of me. That's where I was going.
Man, though, so was it rough though being in an all boys school? I mean, I guess you didn't really know any different, but like, you know, half the best parts of school were like flirting with girls and doing all that, you know?
Yeah.
Well, right across the
like
street
I say,
was-
it was just across the street. So
Yeah.
across the street was double the amount of girls. So not too far.
That's why you were absent 6th period most of your senior year.
Yeah. So you did pretty good wrestling in high school, obviously. How were you recruited, or how did you end up at Cal Poly is what I'm trying to get at.
That's a pretty interesting story.
Do tell.
My weight class was second lightest weight class in high school. And then the smallest weight class in college is just to give you in high school, when I wrestled, the smallest weight class was 98 pounds, and then 105, and then 112, and then 119. So in college, the lightest weight is 118. So you have all those little guys that are trying to grow and get big, plus all the 19-pounders and, maybe even some 25-pounders deciding to cut a few more pounds to kind of blend into that one weight class. So I was debating because of my size. I was right about 118, soaking wet in high school, senior year in high school. And so I was debating on if I should go to junior college just to get a little bit bigger and I was always strong for my size, but just to get a little bit bigger and get used to college wrestling. And then I was talked to the Fresno State coach a little bit at a national tournament. And I said, okay, maybe I'll go over there to Fresno, not ever even seen it. And so I went to Fresno with my parents, and like I tell you, I was girl crazy. Kind of told you that earlier. So we're driving through Fresno, and it looks like Disneyland to me. I'm like, look at all these girls. It's sun, pools, bikinis, right next to campus. And now, mind you, I was in an air conditioning van.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is summertime.
Oh, boy.
So we park. I open up the car door. It's 110 degrees, and I looked at my parents and I go, "No,
Not a chance.
this isn't going to happen. It's too hot over here."
Yeah. It is
being
warm.
from Monterey, which was a hot day is 75,
Yeah.
to go 110. I was like, I don't think so. And then the coach at the time, Lennis Cal at Cal Poly, gave me a call and said, "Hey, I thought you were coming here." And I said, "Well, I didn't get in." And he goes, "Well, did you put wrestling on it?" And I go, "Did you put wrestling?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I did wrestling." "No, you have to put attention wrestling, so it actually goes to him and stuff." And to be honest, I thought I was going to get into Cal Poly anyway. I had good grades and everything like that. Pretty diverse person, so I was like, "Oh, I probably that should help." That should help me a little bit. Did a lot of activities, did all the things that kids are supposed to do to try to get into college, for sure. But wrestling was my gateway through Cal Poly for sure.
Well, nowadays, like I'm hearing kids that have like 4.0s that are getting turned away from Poly.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like
Yeah,
it's
I
because
think
they didn't have enough.
Average
of
is
the
like
extra.
4.09 or something like that.
Well,
GPA.
especially you know you have the right emphasis or the right
Yeah,
major
you got to be
or
involved in the
whatever.
right extracurriculars to get into Cal Poly
Yeah.
these days. Plus, on top of that, high GPA.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cal Poly's a
I
good
mean
school.
it's definitely even higher now than it was when I was there in '88. If you can remember back then.
No, I can't, man. I was still a twinkle in my
Negative.
dad's eye.
I was
Yeah.
born in '90, but yeah. So. Well, I like that story. That's cool. So you redid your I don't know what would it be, application, and attention. You put attention wrestling on there, and it all worked out. The rest is history.
Yes, yeah. I thought I put that I wrestled in there. I just didn't make it to the wrestling coach. Didn't make it that far. It went through the regular screening, and then the coach my father ended up talking to the coach, and the coach ended up calling, and we had to resubmit it. And there we go. And I, even when I came here, like I said, I was pretty small. I think he had me fourth on the ladder for the team. So he had a 5-year starter, 5-year starter, and then he had a sophomore, and he had 3 freshmen, myself being one of them. So I had to kind of work my way up to all that and the scholarships.
Oh, so you didn't have a scholarship right away when you went there?
No, I had a little bit. I had a little bit of money, but
Okay.
it definitely looked a little bit better each and every year.
Gotcha.
For sure. And I started gaining size, and I was 118 as a freshman. By the time my redshirt sophomore year, I was 125, which doesn't sound a lot. But then my junior and senior year, I was closing in on 140.
Oh, wow. So you really put it
I
on.
was cutting. Yeah, I'd get to about 140, eating – just lifting a lot and eating a lot of sour cream and pizza and stuff like that. And then right before season, I would just naturally lose about 10 pounds. And then every week I would lose 12 pounds to make weight.
So
130 to
that's something
118.
I wanted to ask. Like, I've seen, watching like the Ultimate Fighter TV show, you see these guys have to lose, 10 pounds in a day because, they're over and they got to like sit in this sauna with all these, how, like, for someone that doesn't really understand, like, how gnarly is that process where you're like, okay, I got to lose all this weight like that?
You know what? Only people that cut weight like that understand. I mean, it's hard to, unless you're there, and you've done it yourself. And maybe you guys should try it. Try to lose 20 pounds in about 30 hours, and then we'll talk about it.
I like that psychology right there. He's trying to motivate.
Yeah.
Us. He's trying to motivate us. I like what you're doing. The PE teacher never left. Yeah, I remember just one specific guy comes to mind and it's you. I'm sure you remember, obviously, Gage Mortensen from our.
Mm-hmm.
I just, especially more so in high school, when he was cutting for high school, like freshman or sophomore year, man, you did not want to talk to that guy.
Yeah.
At all, because he'll put you. Yeah, he'll put you in your place. He's on a fasting right now, and I just remember that. I'd be like, oh shit, oh man.
You could see it in his eye, huh? When he started cutting weight, you could see it on their face. Leave him alone today.
Yeah, I totally remember that.
Wait till he gets a snack after he gets off the scale.
It's really losing weight and working out to that intensity, and then it's not so much the food, but especially the last day, it's the water. Not being able to have the liquid really gets you irritable for sure.
So what about? So you have to do that. Is that the day before the match is when you weigh in, or the day of?
Back when I was wrestling, they had a few day befores for tournaments, especially with traveling, and the duels when you went 1-on-1 were about 5 hours beforehand. You would weigh in right before you wrestle, 5 hours before you wrestle. Now it's about 2 hours before you wrestle.
So you're telling me that these guys got to drop all this weight, get like totally exhausted, and then go wrestle 2 hours later?
Yeah, it'd be kind of, I would always argue with my, physiology and kinesiology professors about this a little bit, because they're like, hey, Joe, you are losing some muscle, right, when you cut that weight. And I go, yes, I do, but there's a fine balance where I need to be able to lose some significant amount of weight fast so I can gain it back when it's time to wrestle, especially in the night before weigh-in. Because when all skills are equal, a night before weigh-in and all skills are equal, and I've been dieting really good, and I'm set let's say I'm a set 118. I'm going to be 118 the next day. After I weigh in, the next day I'll be 118 because I've cut myself to that. And then there's the guy that's 130, cuts 12 pounds real quick, and they can replenish all that liquid and feel good because they have time to recover. And then you get into the fight or the match. Oh, well, you're 118 and they're 130 and everything's equal.
That makes sense.
Right.
So that weight kind of takes effect. And if it's a 2-day tournament, it's even worse.
Okay. I guess I never really thought of it that way. I always just thought straight up like go into it. But I guess for the smaller guys that, like you said, don't have as much water weight or whatever, that it really plays into their advantage.
It kind of became who can cut the most in the fastest amount of time.
I got you.
Right.
And still be healthy and still be able to operate. But if they did it, so if MMA or wrestling did 1 hour before weigh-ins, that would change the game. You wouldn't see a lot of people losing that much weight.
Yeah. Yeah, I just remember watching those guys do that. It was always a deterrent for me to not wrestle. I was like, I want to play basketball.
I wanted to play basketball too, man. I'm telling you.
I look into that room and you can't even see because it's so steamy.
Yeah,
and you just know there's about 10 dudes in there with sweatshirts running around in circles, and I'm like, I'm good, man.
Yeah, I've gotten. Let's just say I used to get asked every now and then, definitely in high school, to play to wrestle. And I already had my sports. I was football, basketball, baseball. I there was no getting out of those for me.
Kenny, you could have wrestled, buddy. I'm telling you.
I know. I definitely, back then. But I mean, those practices, man, my kudos go out to every one of those guys. I mean, it really takes, the word that's keep coming back to me is discipline,
Yeah.
You got to have it's all mental too, It's getting yourself through. It's like running a marathon. You hit those walls. You just got to keep going. You hit another wall, keep going. And it keeps getting better. So, okay, you're at Cal Poly. You're wrestling and doing all that good stuff. How'd it go? What success did you get at Cal Poly? I know did you win? Would it be the conference? How did it go? How did it go? Kind of.
It was. I learned a lot from Lennis Cowell, the coach over there. My wrestling grew exponentially with my training partners that I had and a little bit better coach. I love my high school coach. He got me in the sport. He dragged me, literally dragged me off the basketball court and said, "Hey, I heard you wrestle. Come on over here." Okay. And he got me enthused and excited about it. College coach just brought me to another level, just having so many partners. And then I have the advantage of being smaller too. So even when you outdo all the people your size and maybe the weighted class above, you just jump up another weight class.
Makes sense.
Hey, okay, I can beat all you guys. I can beat all you guys. Let me go up a weight class, So it would kind of suck being the heavyweight and being probably the best because it's hard to wrestle up if you're already heavyweight.
Right.
So anyway, in college that was great, and I was always a freestyle wrestler and a Greco-Roman wrestler, so I wrestled year round.
Yeah, that's right.
In college, I didn't stop just at the college season. I kept going, maybe took 2 weeks off and kept going and did international wrestling. And I think that's brought my mental game up because when I was 18 and 19 years old, I was wrestling ranked guys in the nation already.
Wow.
So that helps you once you get to your later years of college, that helps you out, right?
Yeah. By the time I was a sophomore and junior, you're not really nervous about wrestling anybody, all the big names, because I've wrestled even bigger names that were trying to make the Olympic teams and stuff like that. That's scary. Trust me. No, I got whooped a lot.
I can imagine.
Well, that's the thing about playing, and this goes for every sport, man. After the high school or the little league, junior high sports, high school sports, you don't just stop there. Like, say you're going to play club basketball, club baseball. I mean, you just keep that going, and you're playing all these other guys who's focusing on, let's say, baseball or basketball, and then it makes you elevate your game that much more. So when you start playing with, back in the next season, I mean, it's just like you can just see your game skyrocket up the chart, and it was always nice playing year-round sports. It was tough. It was tough. That's for damn sure. But there was always benefits. Got you ready.
Keep you focused the whole time.
Yeah. Right.
It's as you know, when things get tough, you're gonna go one or two ways, right? You're gonna elevate your game, or you may decide to quit. Unfortunately, so.
Either way, you're going to find something about yourself.
Right?
Yeah.
You're going to find something about yourself. It's what they say. You learn more from losing than you do winning, but it's how you take winning, or it's how you take losing. You could either, put your head down and be a loser, or you could prepare that much. You could prepare that much more and train that much harder and use it as motivation.
For sure.
And that's what it comes down to these days, man. So much competition.
I'm excited because I was kind of doing some reading and stuff. So you made the 1993 NCAA Wrestling Championship at Iowa State. I just kind of want to know, like, what was that experience like? Was there any other big names that were at that tournament that, anybody might know? That's a very unique experience. I just kind of want to get your take on it.
Yeah, I was second in the Pac-12 conference, so that was my senior year. So that was the second time I made the NCAAs. So that was my senior year, and that's I remember my coach had made a comment that if this was for my weight class anyway, he had made a comment to the paper, if it were any other year, I would have been in the running for All-American, but it was just, we had so many returning All-Americans that year and so many pretty darn good kids, and it was very, very competitive. And I could tell you this: the first time I ever froze really bad in a match, only time probably in college, was at the NCAAs, and that's with a guy named Dan Gable was coaching. You might know him. He's one of the best.
Sounds very
icons.
That sounds like Chad Gable's dad.
Right?
Yeah.
I knew you were going to bring that up. He's an Olympic wrestler too.
Yeah, he is. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But he was coaching at the time, and so I was wrestling the number one seed. I think I was seated at maybe 12th or 13th, and in the quarters. And we were having a tight. We'd never wrestled before. We were having a tight match, and it's in Iowa. So he's from Iowa. Okay. As you know, this is Iowa State. So this is an Iowa guy. Iowa's going to win the national championship.
Wrestling hotbed.
So I have never seen 15,000 people really pissed off at me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it just started to wear really heavy. Not only was he really good, to watch Dan Gable, one of my icon coaches, yelling at me every takedown that guy, I just got heavier and heavier. And then 15,000 people going just every time he scored, just up in an uproar.
Oh, that's awesome.
I froze.
Yeah.
Awesome for him, not for Joe.
No, it seems like a really cool experience.
Honestly, I was just thinking about the atmosphere too.
Yeah.
I was like, the atmosphere sounds so awesome. That's where like the home. You never really think about it. You never really think about it. In wrestling, really, like home match advantage.
Almost said home turf, but it's not turf.
Home turf, home mat advantage. I mean, that could really, because you're holding already someone's weight down. You're you're doing your best to manipulate their body, to pin or score points, and that just makes it even heavier. Just the sound of, like you said, 15,000. And I'm sure around here that,
It became wrestling one guy to wrestling about 15,000 in one guy.
Damn.
That'd be a little rough.
But another growing experience, and I'm not afraid to share that because that's another growing experience that helped me wrestle internationally.
Well, speaking of that, we have it down here that you were a 3-time Olympic trial qualifier.
Correct.
So I want to know what that's like. What's it like, because I know there's college and you're wrestling for your college, but what's it like to wrestle for the red, white, and blue and like be on that stage?
Be regarded as one of them, yeah.
It kind of snuck up. It all sneaks up on me a little bit. I try to even tell my middle school kids this. You never know when you're going to start turning the corner in any sport. And I would say in high school, I turned the corner when I was a sophomore. So that was a little bit early. I was expected to do well after my sophomore year. College, I was doing well. I was doing well about my junior year. I would say junior year. Internationally, kind of again snuck up on me. Again, going to international tournaments, 18, 19, wrestling the big time guys already. And I think it was when I was 21, I placed in the national I placed in the national tournament and became a finalist for the trials. And to be honest, I was down. I remember I was down 9-0. And I said, all of a sudden, you know what? Just do it. Let's go. Let's get in here because he's thrashing me already. Yeah. I hit 2 moves and I won 10-9.
Wow.
And and within a minute and a half, and then I said, you know what? That's what I got to do. I just got to start going. I got to open up and going for it. Next thing I know, I'm 5-0 at the qualifier, and I'm wrestling the big dogs, number 1s and 2s, and I'm hanging with them. I'm hanging really strong with them and placing 5th. And that's kind of, I didn't expect it. It just happened. And then it became I have to do at least this all the time.
That is awesome. Well, I was wondering, so you, like I said, you got country and you got college. Which one did you want more? Which one, like, when you look back on it, which one meant the most?
That's a great question. That is a great
Hey,
question.
Here at the Garage Gang, we come with them heavy hitters.
Oh, wow. Oh, gosh. Oh, man. You want all of them, high school state championship. That's huge. NCAA All-American, that's huge. Yeah. And then wrestling for the United States, that's probably the ultimate.
Yeah.
The ultimate honor. There are guys that do one of those only. And
absolutely.
There are some that get all 3, I think the one that sticks out for me the most is probably the NCAA.
Okay.
I wanted, like I said, I took second in the Pac-12s. I was ranked second. I took second. The guy that was ranked third won it.
Oh, wow.
And the guy that took third ended up being an All-American the next week. So that's where we all were. You were
right there.
You were at that level.
Yeah. Right.
We beat each other back and forth. That's
absolutely.
That's what it was. So that one sticks out because that one thing that for me, that's like, Cal Poly's was a very cool place to be.
Oh, absolutely.
At the time.
So keeping on the Olympian trend, I didn't really write this down, but it just kind of came to me right now. Is wrestling still taken out of the Olympics? Didn't they? Hold on. What they take wrestling out of? I forget they took.
They were thinking about it for 16, but it got put back in.
Oh,
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, how can you take out something that's been here since like the Greeks?
But when you think of like an Olympic sport, wrestling is an Olympic sport. That's it's more than basketball. Like
I mean, there's no like pro. Yeah. To my knowledge,
the whole point of I feel like the Olympics is to highlight the sports that don't get highlighted. Yeah. Like basketball and all that stuff. Like it's meant for track and field and wrestling and swimming and diving and running.
The Olympiads.
100%.
That those are the people that I think that's I don't know what
I absolutely agree. It was pretty stunning when the Olympic group had even mentioned that for a little while. And as wrestlers, we fight
Right.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And put up a big stink, and it's back. That just didn't take very long, but
Yeah,
it took wrestlers to be conscientious. That nothing's forever, and we need to fight for our sport.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was they took it out as some sort of games or they were talking about it, but I was like, you just can't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, why?
All right, so we are going to transition over into our power ranking segment.
I'm
right?
excited for this one.
So,
yeah, I gave you a heads up, so I mean, you should have a full.
being as how Mr. Dansby is a PE teacher, all right, we decided to rank our top 5 favorite PE activities or games.
Yeah, in the pacer, the 20 minutes probably not going to be on.
Yes, definitely not.
Oh, I hated the pacer.
Really?
Dude,
no
hey.
way! I thought that would be right there.
It was
That
just annoying.
That
dude.
background music, dude, from the Pacers.
Well, it was like I
always
could do this. I mean, this is just a waste. I mean, I'm just eventually just going to be running in circles. I mean,
The
but
Pacers sucked. I
Yeah.
hated the Pacers, man.
I'll
I
run
totally forgot about the Pacers until you
I know.
freaking
I just thought
just
about
said
it right now. It was,
Damn it, man. Why'd you have to bring back that whole
it was like
memory?
beep 100.
Oh, my God. All right, I'll kick it. I'll kick it off.
Kick us off.
So,
I want to write this down, man. I can't wait.
all right.
All right.
So obviously, like number 5, I'm gonna go. It's a basic sport. I always loved like the rainy day basketball games. Those are my absolute favorite.
In the gym.
In the gym, getting to go in and just play basketball. That was always my number
Yeah,
one.
that's a pretty good one.
Or that was like my favorite one to do. Then I'd say number 4 was volleyball. I enjoyed volleyball because I never played volleyball growing up, and so that was the only time I ever got to play it. So I'd say that was one of them, and then ultimate frisbee would be number 3. Just really getting to get down with the frisbee. I never really got to throw it as a kid, and I actually got a funny story about the frisbee.
This is a good story right here. I told you we were reminiscing the other night.
Since we're on the frisbee story, there was I want to say I think it was 8th grade, where Miss Young, she's teaching us how to throw a frisbee, and so she's standing with her back like against, I believe it was like the gym, and we're all sitting
Handball wall. Yeah.
we're all sitting crisscross like in front of her, and so she's trying to throw the frisbee underhand to her TA, who I think is behind, and she unloads this thing right into the face of a girl in the front row. Yeah. And me and Kenny were both in the class, and I'll never forget.
So we were all sitting Indian style, or you can't really say crisscross applesauce style, in front of the handball wall, right next to the weight room, watching the demonstration or whatever. And I have a feeling who it was, but no names will be named here.
Yeah.
And literally just, she's all smiling, happy, and whatever. Next thing she knows, she has her mouth full of frisbee in her face. And we were like, oh my
just
God.
Demolished her.
Laughing our asses off. We felt bad, but dude, that was a funny story.
But you remembered it, see?
Oh,
You remembered
absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
Number 2 is dodgeball. Always
Okay.
loved dodgeball. It was a chance for me to, take out the people I didn't like in the class and get to throw something at them.
Yeah.
Obviously. And then number 1 is a sport that's not really a sport. We don't get to play it around here, and it was lacrosse. I loved lacrosse.
We played that more. I don't think we played that at Mesa. Did
I don't
we?
remember Mesa
It was more
playing
Napomo.
it. Yeah, I remember Coach McClurg. When we had Coach McClurg,
Me
he was
too.
the one that did that with us. But I just remember playing lacrosse. Of course, it's a physical game, and I liked football and I liked all that stuff. So it was something that fit me kind of right away.
Yeah, you're such a beast, so I bet you were good at it.
Yeah.
There's
Let me
sarcasm.
tell you, lacrosse it is so frustrating to teach.
Well, you gotta
God. Cradling. It starts with cradling
Yeah.
alone. Just keeping the ball in the basket. The kids can't do it. And then you ask them to run with it. Yeah, it's on the ground. And then you have a game and the ball's on the ground for 90 minutes of the 95-minute game.
And there's always those probably 20% of the kids in the class that are just really low motivated.
The girls that are wearing the sweatpants that don't want to.
They're just kind of they're just kind of if they can't do it easily, they ain't gonna do it. Really, that's just how it goes. And then you have studs like me and Aaron just kind of running around with the damn ball, flicking that thing in people's faces,
just hammering people.
Okay, well that's
the girls always hated me.
You wonder why they don't want to play.
Yeah.
You wonder why they don't want to play.
Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
you go. Okay.
Go ahead.
So, honorable mention dodgeball. That's fun. That goes without saying. From elementary up to whenever we stopped playing it. I like throwing at people's faces, or that was always cool. That was fun. 5, probably ultimate frisbee. I tried to stray away from like basketball or football because that goes without saying. Like that's fun. We get it. We played for real. And then 4 was lacrosse. Mostly high school. I remember it was super fun, different. By the way, did they have lacrosse in Salinas, or where were Salinas at?
No, I didn't have it in. We were pretty generic back in Palma. Pretty generic. Basketball, football, track.
Well, I guess he only had 300 kids, so I mean, he got to be selective with those. Hockey.
We had 90 people in our freshman class.
Yeah.
90
Wow.
kids in one PE class.
So hockey was fun. Now this I remember on the blacktop at Mesa. So fun. I used to get in trouble from bringing the stick up too high. Because why not? And then so hockey was great. Hockey was my favorite sport. And it's still up there for me, but when I was growing up,
If it wasn't
it
played
was
on
my
ice,
favorite sport. So,
if it wasn't played on ice, I think I'd like hockey a lot more.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. Number 2 is kickball. Kickball was super fun. I even played kickball after high school.
Slosh ball.
Called slosh ball with a keg on second base. That was really fun. And everyone could play.
I wish we could have done that in high school.
Me and our group, we used to do it like once a year, like back in the day.
Over at Biddle, huh?
Over at Biddle Park, we used to do that. It was super fun. And this one's kind of fun. It's a capture the flag. We used to play that. I mostly remember it in Apoma. We'd have a little capture the flag thing where it would be just multiple classes, joining multiple classes that period, joining in, and that would be just super. That's just super cool. Like you go up in the bushes, trying to hey, anything to get us running. All right, that's cool.
That's actually a pretty good list.
I never understood how kids. I don't know how kids even play capture the flag anymore. I know every year for the last maybe 6 years, my wrestling team, we do a little for the end of the year. We'll do a party here at Mesa, and so we wait till about 8:30 p.m. and we'll play capture the flag, 7th graders against 8th graders.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's dark. They love it. But they really don't know how to play, but they kind of know.
Well, you know what, Mr. Dansby? There I go, Mr. Dansby. I was talking PE. It stems, like you said, I don't know what kids do these days anymore. But growing up on my block, I had a ton of kids on my block. And we would be we'd play capture the flag, like evening time more so, like, getting a little bit of dark. We'd play like around the block capture the flag because we do anything to stay out as long as we could. Like my mom would be like stepping out the door, Kenneth Ray, like you'd hear around the, the block, doing all that. I mean, we used to do, play sardines, hide and seek, capture the flag. Anything to be outside. And like you said, I don't really see that. I see a couple kids on the block today, but
not as much.
It's not like we used to do it.
Not anymore.
But that's just with the times.
Nice.
I can tell you one thing that definitely did not make my list, and that's the freaking Cotton Eye Joe. Okay, I can tell you that right now. That sucked. They played that on every dance after, and for some reason, everyone did it.
They're like, in order to graduate Mesa, you have to.
Aaron. You can still do it, buddy.
I'm sure if it came on, I don't remember it off the top of my head, but if it came on, I'm sure my body would just start doing it.
It's like the grapevine.
Yeah.
It's
like the grapevine.
Cha-cha,
daddy, y'all.
What was I going to say? Yeah, I remember PE teachers used to say, or whoever used to say that in order to graduate Mesa, you had to learn that. Or something. I remember back in the day, I was like, give me a break. But we did it. We had that unit.
So for me, my list might be a little different than yours because I'm from Tulare originally. So we had couple of different PE games and stuff. So my number 5, I went relay races. We always had one of my PE teachers had like a stuffed animal, kind of like one of those like stress balls type things with their animals. And so he'd break us up into groups, and then you'd have to run over to the hula hoop, drop the animal in there, and then come and go. So that was always fun because it was competitive for me.
Yeah.
Back in that day, it was like 200 pounds less, so I was a lot quicker. Number 4, Frisbee football, ultimate Frisbee. That was always fun. I'm left-handed, so when I throw it, like, it loops. And so kind of everybody knew how I threw. So, like, you'd see everybody when I would get the Frisbee, they would shift all the way on the other side of
I'm
the field.
terrible at throwing a Frisbee. I just caught it most of the time.
Yeah, it was great. Number 3 for me, and this was a game, I remember, I think it was in elementary school, Steal the Bacon. Do you remember that?
I remember more from football than I do
Yeah.
from
So
PE.
Steal the Bacon. So we would have a trash can
Is that
flipped
like
on.
smear the thing?
It's
No,
not
no,
smear
no.
the clear.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No.
Sorry, we can't say that. That's
So you would have a trash can flipped on its end, and you'd have like a eraser on the board, and you'd be assigned a number, and the PE teacher would call a number, and then you have to go get it and then bring it back to your side.
Oh,
And
so
then
it's
if you
in the
get it-
middle and then
Yeah. So it's almost kind of like Red Rover in a sense, where you have 2 lines, and then you have the trash can in the middle, call the number, you run to get it.
it's like the first part of dodgeball.
It got
Yeah.
real wild during football season. We did that when me and Joe were coaching, and we did Steal the Bacon. And when you can like light people up, that game gets real rough.
Yeah.
because like we'll
That
be
sounds
doing
so
it,
fun.
and then like halfway in between when guys are pulling on it, we'll call 2 more numbers, and then they come.
They
in
just
and
come in
you
and
know what I mean? Oh yeah.
Yeah, we do the same thing in wrestling. The Steal the Bacon at practice. Call out 2, and then they'll just start wrestling at it and trying to get it, and then we tried this at adding some math, So hey, 5 divided, or 6 divided by 3, and then
Everybody's like,
Everyone
huh?
just
What?
stands
What?
wait a minute, is that me or is that is that 3? No, it's 2.
You said you had 4.0s and 1.0s. The 1.0s were not good at that part.
Oh, that's awesome. So number 2, we had a game, and it was a variant of kickball, so it wasn't regular kickball. My PE teacher called it crazy kickball. So you'd kick the ball, and everybody on defense had to get in a line, and then they would have to go over under.
We did that.
That was always fun for me because I feel like I always kicked it pretty far and always scored a point. So that was always pretty fun. What? Why are you guys always hating on me, dude?
Because we love you
Yeah,
so
you guys always
much.
hating on me, man. And then my number 1 was a variant game of dodgeball. We called it Socko, and it was just like a dodgeball game we always played. I always made it closer to the end.
So here's my thing. Do you like dodgeball with the little balls or dodgeball with the big rubber dodgeballs? Do you know what I'm
So
talking
we
about?
had
The red ones, like the
yeah.
actual
we had the yellow
wrenches.
bouncy balls. I always liked it with the bigger balls.
I like the bigger ones because they hurt the people more.
Yeah. I feel like I had more. I had more accuracy with the bigger balls. With
And
the
it was
yellow-
easier to catch the bigger balls
Yeah.
for me, honestly.
So
Yeah, it's easier for the whole person to fall over. Actually,
Yeah.
it's kind of nice when they caught it but fell on their butt anyway.
Yeah.
we definitely played the crazy kickball. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
I remember that.
Because everybody on defense had to
It
get
was
in a
just a
line.
variant. Yeah, so we
part of
didn't
it.
just play kickball unit. It was like they'd added a couple wrinkles, I feel like.
That was a Mr. Norlock game there.
Yeah.
Norlock.
God, I miss Norlock. Let him know we're thinking about him for sure.
I will. I will for sure. I noticed all 3 of you said ultimate frisbee. I believe the terminology is ultimate disc, but
Is it?
Oh yeah. Dang.
Well, we blame our PE teachers.
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah.
They didn't teach us the right name.
Man, especially when Joe was saying his list, everything was coming back to me, like pig ball.
Well, so we were talking before, and I said like tetherball was always one, but that's not really a PE sport. That's more of like a
recess
like a
sport in
recess
4th
to go out and
grade.
Do it, but that was like my favorite.
I feel like that was like Nepoma Elementary
Yeah.
day. I feel like.
Oh yeah, and then like a little bit at Dana, and then you started playing like
Yeah, and then I was getting grass stains on my jeans playing
Yep.
soccer.
Yeah.
yeah, And
Also,
I have to preface because I did go to Cal Poly and learn my physical education from Cal Poly. They would never allow me to do a unit of kickball and dodgeball.
Oh,
yeah.
That's not necessarily a PE unit, more of a lunchtime gathering or fun PE day or class to class type of deal because of the elimination factor of it all.
right.
Of dodgeball. But we have some dodgeball tournaments here at lunch. We get half the school here.
No, and that's that's
great.
always fun in high
Fantastic.
school. Everyone would get together and you get your teams together, and then half the teams would be super legit about it and make shirts and look really cool, and the other teams would just be some hodgepodge group of kids. So yeah, I always had fun going and watching those. My team's never won, so I was always watching the championship.
All right.
So
Dansby,
what's your list? What are your 5? I'm excited to hear this.
Cal Poly approved, though. Cal Poly approved.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Just kidding.
I'm sorry, it's ingrained in the brain, even from 25 years ago. I would say, for me, I kind of went unit-based, not necessarily games, but the units that I really like to see 7th and 8th graders do, because it might be the only time they get to do it. Like you said, lacrosse. I mean, you probably haven't played lacrosse since or picked up
not at all.
Not even thought about it.
Not even thought about it, right?
Yeah.
So it's getting them interested in doing something that they've never done. So awesome. I think 5 for me would be archery.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's dope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good one.
Absolutely.
Also dangerous. I love it.
We definitely got to do that at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have Kenny and Aaron sitting, day one. Okay, guys, shoot at. No, that's not going to happen.
That's
We're going to take a while.
Got to learn some discipline.
Well, at least by the end of the year, you know how to keep your eye on.
Yeah.
There we go.
When you're right, you're right.
Archery,
We were great
archery's
students.
up there for sure. Probably the only time some of my kids ever shoot. And then you mentioned the Cotton Eye Joe. I would say multicultural dance or square dance.
Square dance.
I always I always like to see the guys try to ask the girl out.
Little squeamish.
Hey, I can attest to that. So I was a PE aide for 1 year at Dana and Dorothea Lang, and my boss, I don't know if you know Patty Wiley. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So she was my teacher, and she come up to me, she goes, "Look, I want you to do something that you're not comfortable with," because I was doing football and kickball. And she's like, I go, okay. She goes, "I want you to teach dance." And I go, "What?" I was like, all right. So at that time, I got a popular dance from the Hannah Montana movie. And I'll tell you what, man, the kids loved it. They were on recess, practicing that dance. And so it was a pretty cool experience to, kind of see that.
See, and now dancing and also teaching, you like line dance.
Yeah, country line dance.
That's one of your favorite things to do now,
Got to get out of your box. See?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I could see you being just giving a little smirk, trying to see them ask for a partner.
Dipper, spin around.
Oh, no, go get your partner.
I love it. I love it. And you know what? That really is big for is listening skills. It's
right.
All of a sudden, square dancing. All of a sudden, these kids that normally don't listen too much.
I like hearing him describe the motives behind these units.
Yeah.
It's like we're like, kickball, catch the flag. He's like, well, this teaches listening skills, and it also gives a chance to embarrass the little boys.
There's always hidden motives, always.
Hey, there's got to be
We can't just pull their hair anymore and say, "Let's go dance."
Yeah.
Those days are over. Long over. And then wrestling. I had wrestling up there because that again. We've had all these athletes that do all these other sports, and when they wouldn't even think about wrestling, and some of them, I would say 90% of the kids in the unit, I mean, I'm the only one that teaches it, so Norlock wouldn't do that, of course.
Yeah.
But 90% of the kids when we first start are a little bit nervous to do wrestling. And then after they see what we're kind of doing, all that stuff and how fun it is, they actually just enjoy taking down their buddy.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That was the best part.
Yeah, I mean, they actually like getting taken down too. That's the weird thing.
Yeah.
When we were just going over moves.
Well, it's like you're rolling. So, like, as a kid that's never, you're rolling out these mats, and that's in itself kind of intriguing for someone who's never really, say you get to roll around a little bit on some padded mats. I love the wrestling unit too.
Absolutely.
Like in middle school, and I remember more. It's probably more recent. Obviously, is more so in high school and stuff. Playing like Snake in the Grass. I think it was Snake in the Grass where you gotta take down. A couple of those games, and it was just nice to. It was pretty cool stuff. It's one of my favorite units too. But
yeah, I like to see the kids grow, and then of course it helps me because some people will sign up.
Yeah,
That's very true.
Absolutely.
Recruiting, yes.
Yeah.
PE recruiting, call it what it is.
I'm sure wrestling that's kind of an important thing too. Especially for wrestling. Like you said, kids aren't really comfortable at first doing that. They kind of get familiarized with themselves, and they find something they like. You find
all of a sudden it's like, okay, coach, you're saying it's okay for me to take this double leg and lift this person up in the air, and okay,
Yeah.
Awesome.
do that. And then like Aaron had said, volleyball is always a good unit because like most people don't play, and unfortunately we only do it in 8th grade. So this is what I found is 7th graders won't come out for volleyball because they have this perception of volleyball. It's not very active. I don't really know how to do it. And then 8th grade, we have a bigger turnout for 8th grade because we have the unit in PE and all the 8th graders play, and they go, actually, this is kind of fun. Actually, when I get the hang of it, of jumping in the air and smashing this ball in somebody's face.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. They learn how to spike, serve, the fast pace, everybody's scoring all the time, unlike soccer where you need a lot of skill for soccer. You can figure out these volleyball skills in a short amount of time. And I like the growth. But like I say, 7th grade, the team consists of 12 people that we begged to come out for the team.
Yeah.
In 8th grade, 30 people are trying out for the 8th grade team.
That's good.
All the 7th graders that return, plus all the people that do the unit. So that's fun. And then I probably the number one for me is a tie between circus, juggling.
Oh, yeah.
Gold cloths and stuff.
See everybody progress through the juggling and learn it for the first time, and those all of a sudden are doing pins and other types of things. And then if you remember, I think one of you had McDonald, right? Didn't one of, or you had a Young, I think.
I had a
Young.
8th grade, I think. I don't think McDonald was there. I think that was
She
kind of
wasn't
before.
quite there.
I think that was before.
She's
time.
got a survivor unit that's pretty
cool. That's cool.
That would be fun.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of things
cool.
around the whole campus. A lot of challenges, a lot of team building
That's sick.
around
Yeah,
the whole campus and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool to see all the kids and then she divides the kids that they don't really even know each other, even though they've been in the same class. They haven't. There's the groups of 5 people that pretty much have never worked together.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, that's a good list. I like that.
I love that you said archery. That right,
Yeah.
I totally forgot, and I remember how much fun I had in archery. Because, like you said, it was something I literally had never ever done, and I thought shooting a bow and arrow was like so hard. You know what I mean? And then you get it, and you're like, you know what? I mean, don't get me wrong, it's hard, and you understand it's difficult, but you're like, this isn't as bad as I thought it would be.
Yeah, and also I like what you said about the volleyball thing is getting people to come out of their like comfort zone in a game they never tried, because that I can relate to that, because I was 7th grade. I was getting over baseball. I was just playing because of my dad. He's a baseball guy, and I was kind of like, I'm kind of over it. In Norlock, being the master recruiter he is, he's like, come out for volleyball. I was like, definitely out of my comfort zone a little because it wasn't football, basketball, baseball, or anything. And I was like, and I was pretty decent. Obviously, you get better. We lost, I think, 1 game in 2 years my 7th and 8th grade. I mean, 1 or 2 games in 2 years, and like we had a lot of good players. And they helped. We had like the Daniel Greggs or the Tanner Lawrences, and all of them who were amazing at volleyball. But I definitely could relate to that for sure.
Was that Chris Souza in that group?
No, he's a couple years after us. Yeah, he was probably he's a couple years after us.
We were with his sister, Alex.
Yeah, we were with his sister Alex. Yeah,
that's right.
I gotta ask. Right. I gotta ask though. How are these guys as students? I've known these guys for a few years now, and they've been my really good friends. I gotta ask how they were as students. And I mean, PE is their best class, so I'd assume that they were good.
Yeah.
I would say PE was. I would guess that PE was one of their favorite classes.
Yeah.
Every single year. It was the one that brought up my GPA.
Yeah. True story.
You know what? When you know their names really quickly, is that enough said right there?
Yeah, you learn your really good students
really fast, and I just remember Aaron. I see the back of Aaron's head all the time, and I have to call it.
Yeah.
Oh God! I remember there was one time in your class I got kicked in the nuts with a soccer ball, and I had to get wheeled off the freaking field. It hurt so bad. It was so bad. I was playing goalie, and it was a chick who kicked it too, and she just
worse.
She squared up on me, man, and it hurt so bad.
So they had to bring the gurney out.
No, they freaking brought a wheelchair, dude. I was I could not move. I hurt. My nuts have never hurt that bad in my entire life.
Oh shit!
It was a perfect angle.
He's very dangerous. I call it karma. That's karma. He must have done something bad.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Oh,
well,
man.
Kayla, my wife, I don't know. Do you remember Kayla Medeiros? Okay, so yeah, Kayla, she told me to ask you if you remember smacking her in the head with a piece of paper because she wasn't running the 20-minute run.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he'll do that to you.
Oh yeah, she was one of those girls.
Probably you can't do that so much anymore, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. If you're old enough like me, you get away with it.
Yeah, I think it's kind of frowned upon in the establishments these days.
Any kind of contact with the kids.
All right.
I have that nice rapport with them.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Dude, that story. Whew, that was great.
That's one of the better power ranking segments we've had,
right?
I think, for sure.
Fun.
Transition. When did you decide to become a teacher? You're at Poly. You ultimately finished with your master's. I guess down the road a little bit. You master's in kinesiology, correct?
Correct.
When did you decide teaching was the way to go, or PE teaching?
I went in at Cal Poly. I wanted to be an individual course of study because I thought I was going to do maybe athletic training.
Yeah.
Which was fine. I mean, everything was going pretty well. But in that major, they have you do some early field experience, and you do a little bit of teaching with elementary, and it was such a great experience. Being with my another PE buddy of mine, another wrestler of mine who was also a PE kinesiology major, and we did this obstacle course for these elementary kids, and it was so much fun. So that's kind of when I started transitioning my major from athletic training to teaching. And I thought one or two ways how it was going to go when I got older. Elementary, I would be ideal. I kind of like that, starting off with elementary. But I go, well, coaching-wise, it's probably going to be high school because I'm going to be coaching high school.
Absolutely.
And then the last place I wanted to be was middle school. My middle school early field experience, I go, who wants to do this? These kids are crazy.
Yeah.
These kids are bananas. They don't listen. They don't know what they want to do. They're not focused. They're not even fun like the little kids.
It's that in-between stage right there, that in-between stage. Huh.
That in-between. That's a tough age.
Yeah.
But my first job I interviewed in Salinas, I really liked the principal. He really liked wrestling. He said he saw the need for the kids to have it. And I was a local, being at Palma was in Salinas. And he was just really kind principal. And the principal was so powerful. It was like he was interviewing me, but I was getting a good feel about him. And so I said, I got to come here. This is a great school. and that's where I started middle school, and I haven't gone anywhere else. Went back to middle school here. And they were called the Gavelman View Hawks, which is funny. I was there for 4 years and then came here.
And we're a Hawk again.
Mesa Hawks.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I don't think
That's what got me teaching. And you know what, Kenny and Aaron, I think this is what keeps me young. Middle school keeps you young.
keeps you on your toes.
Oh gosh, yes, on your toes for sure. Absolutely. They tell me what I want to know. I want to be in on whatever they know because they think they're the smartest people in the world.
Well, I just know what little a-holes we were at that age, so I can only imagine now. I mean, seeing the lack of discipline kids have it at home now and stuff, I can only imagine that it's got to be a little bit more challenging.
I've had a couple kids at Cuesta come up to me and, hey, they recognize me at Cuesta. And because they're going there now, right? And they go, hey, Mr. Dansby. I go, hey, what's going on? And do you remember me? That's the first question. And, maybe one out of 5 I remember. Uh-huh. I can remember their face, but their name is tough. Yeah. Especially the boys because you guys you get so much older.
But you remember me and Aaron, and that's the most important thing. So
that's true.
I don't know if you said what are you doing at Cuesta, or like what are you teaching at Cuesta? I don't know if you've said it yet.
I coach wrestling. I'm the head coach at Cuesta College.
Okay. Yes.
Over there. So, and then I also teach a spin class over there. So I've seen I've seen some of our previous students either wrestled for me or they've been in my spin class or they've been walking by and seen me in one of those. Hey, and then a couple of them, like I said, they came up to me and they go, hey, Mr. Dansby. I go, what's going on? And do you remember me? And then we figured that out. And then they go, I'm sorry. I go, what? What's going on? I was a horrible middle school student.
Yeah.
Phase 5, the reflection stage.
Yeah.
Reflection and apology stage.
Well, see, like I said, I could probably apologize to all of my teachers except you and Miss I Young. Because I know for sure I always tried hard. I just never understood the writing part of PE. When I had to write things down, I was like...
We did have to do some writing, didn't
towards
we?
like the end, we had to do the writing. And I heard from now, because I have 4 little sisters, and to see some of the stuff they have to do where they actually have like homework when they go home, I'm like, what? Like, it's PE. What are you talking about?
Would you rather have to write or do the pacer?
Oh,
pacer.
Well, I mean, depends what I'm writing.
I think I'd rather do the pacer.
Pacer get done
I think
quick.
you stumped them with that one.
Yeah. I would honestly I would just do the pacer for the music in the background. The bow wow, wow, chicka chicka wow, beep.
Yeah, that beep though is the thing that just gets me. I hate the beep.
Oh man.
So you've some schools you've coached. Obviously, you said you're the head coach at Cuesta right now for wrestling. You've coached at Cal Poly a little bit back in the day, I think I said, and you've coached middle school. Obviously, Mesa Hawks. At least when I was there, we were very good.
Yeah,
we were very good. I don't think you guys even came close to losing when we were 7th and 8th graders. And that actually moved on to Napomo,
They always wore around their black
yellow and
zip
black.
ups. There was a black with the yellow. I always remember the wrestlers. They always, on the wrestling days, they had those black zip ups, the little collars on them and stuff. Yep, for sure.
Yeah. You got to look good, feel good, look good, wrestle
Absolutely.
good.
Well, this was kind of crazy. And for basketball, we'd have to wear a suit and a tie and slacks. And we didn't really ever have to do that in high school. I mean, there was a couple times that we had to do it, but mainly we had our basketball polo that they gave us, and you could wear a polo and jeans. But I remember you didn't play if you didn't wear a tie, a suit, and some slacks all day at Mesa.
Yeah.
Well, we had Coach Diaz and. Man, this is bringing back memories. Yeah. Anyway, so it was different and I was like, damn, is this going to be this way like all throughout high school? And I know it was throughout the years, but it wasn't. It was just 7th and 8th grades, and I found that kind of fascinating at that point.
Let me ask you this: which one was harder, middle school PE or high school PE?
They both weren't.
To be honest with you, they weren't hard.
I enjoyed it.
I loved it. I looked
it.
forward to PE.
I'd say middle school PE was easier.
Yeah.
Because it was less. What do I say?
I feel like less running.
Yeah, less running, more activity. I feel like more games, more this and that. When you got to high school, it was more running, and
I feel like in high school I only had to do PE for 2 years.
I only did
Well,
PE
you
my
did,
freshman year because we played sports.
And then it was like weightlifting.
And then I
Yeah.
chose to do weightlifting after that because it was like I want to have a period where.
So
yeah.
yeah, probably. I don't know. Just a lot of good memories back then for PE. Both high school and middle school.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd say high school
When
a
you
little
weren't
harder.
feeling it, the 20 minutes sucked, and the pacers sucked. Mile was pretty easy because it was only like 8 minutes. Average. My best mile, believe it or not, my best mile ever, my sophomore year was 6:03.
I don't believe that.
It was.
I don't believe it.
6:55 is the best.
6:03. It was 6:03.
6:55.
I
believe it.
mine was 7:30.
7:30.
But I never I don't know. I was
You
never,
ran cross country and your best was 7:30.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a disappointment, bro. I'm
Cross
I know.
country, if you had a 7:30 mile, I guess for 12 whatever
Yeah.
X amount of miles, it's pretty
We
consistent.
ran 3-mile
I
races.
guarantee you he did not run 7:30 for
Oh
12
no.
miles. There is no
No,
way.
my average time when I ran cross country was like 9:15.
Yeah.
I didn't even have like a logo. Like that's how bad I was. Like everybody had like the Tulare Union, like the arrow, like mine was just yellow.
They didn't
and
want
a
people to
white
know
stripe.
you were on the
You
team.
got the backup
Yeah.
practice. The practice.
I mean,
jersey
pretty
shirt.
much. Everybody's like, Joe, you gotta earn your stripes, literally.
How's the wrestling team looking this year?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately,
difficult,
the
yeah.
Mesa team didn't get started.
Yeah.
we did all the practices. We had one meet that was away for all the returners, and we were going to have our first meet here at Mesa, where all our kids got to wrestle, and we had about 50 kids out.
Gee, wow.
And so I would say about 40 of them, it would have been their first wrestling match. And so we practiced for 2 months, and then 2 days before was when we got shut down. So
Dude,
they were really bummed.
that's rough.
That's got to be really disheartening for the kids because obviously we already stated that. I mean, wrestling is a very hard practice scene.
To
and-
do all that practice and then not be able to do the main thing. That sucks.
Yeah, that would be
Exactly. I think that's what they were thinking too. But we had some practices at Napomo High. They loved it being over there and seeing the wrestling room.
Yeah.
And
the pictures on the wall.
Yeah, there were some good things.
They still have all the pictures on the wall of the wrestlers and probably some banners and stuff like that.
They got the pull-up bars, watch
yeah.
our kids.
Yeah, the pull-up bar for sure.
I try to stay away from those.
I'll blow my ankle out.
Forever. Oh God, pull-ups have been so hard in my life. Gosh.
Oh man. What about the Cuesta team?
Cuesta, we are doing kind of like the high schools doing non-contact practice.
Kind of hard to do
Yeah.
with wrestling.
What's that?
Kind of hard to do with wrestling.
Yeah,
Being a contact sport
is.
now.
I mean, when I was trying to think about other sports, and swimming you can swim, running you can run, track you could probably do, just wash off the equipment. And wrestlers, they like to work out. However, if you're asking them to work out 2 hours a day and not wrestle, that's pretty difficult.
Right.
You can only shadow wrestle so much. But I do have some committed athletes right now, and they're going through it, and they're persevering and working towards trying to have a season this year.
That's awesome.
That's good, Coach. I'm glad to hear that. Hopefully there's some meets in the future, and some of this clears up a little.
Which I think it will.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I hope.
Well, I wanna finish off the pod with the question. You are in the Cali Wrestling Hall of Fame. I want to know, what did that mean to you, and kind of what was the experience of like getting inducted, and what was that all like for you?
Yeah, man, first you're like, crap, I'm old.
That officially means that.
It's the accumulation of the career.
Yeah, I mean, and second, it just gets you thinking about a lot of just the climb,
Right.
the climb, the hard times, the good times, the really great teammates I've made, great competitors that made me better, coaches, places I've gotten to travel, and I started really thinking about my family, and and they made an investment in me too. They kind of had to go to the poorhouse a little bit for me to do things, and be able to travel and try to get better. So it's kind of a nice culmination of it all. And I actually got inducted to the National Hall of Fame last year.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Okay, that was the.
That's what I saw. That was the 2020.
guy.
Yeah.
Wow.
To 2020, but that
Congratulations.
got moved to 2021, which just got moved to 2022.
Of course it did.
Well, let's just say you're in it.
Yeah.
We'll celebrate
They gave me a
appropriately.
mask. They gave me a mask. They gave me a Hall of Fame mask.
Yeah.
That was kind of nice.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it really gets you thinking about, when to have all your friends at the California Hall of Fame and people that have supported you, to have so many people there, just get a super warm feeling inside. And I think that's why I love to give back so much to the kids. So hopefully only just be able to do that to a fraction
Right.
Yeah,
of the people that I actually touch base with.
Well, I'm super stoked because that's an attest to your hard work, not just from when you actually were wrestling, like in college and, for the U.S. team, but just your hard work throughout your whole entire life, being a teacher, being a coach, that's all taken into consideration, I'm sure, for that award. So that's awesome. That's an incredible feat.
That's a good point, Joe.
Thank you.
It's not philanthropic work, but you're coaching kids, you're molding young minds for 25 years, coaching, teaching, and it's basically all around the passion of wrestling, or stems from it. Try to incorporate it. You try to incorporate it as much as you can, and
Well,
happens.
I will say it's not hard to see though, because I've had numerous PE teachers throughout my years, and like I said, that was always my favorite class. And you are always one of my top. You and Coach McClurg are my two favorite PE teachers I ever had. So it's definitely I can understand that everyone can be good, but then there's that extra level that puts you above everyone else, and you've had that, and so. And I know I've told people, throughout the time, like, hey, we're going to interview Coach Dansby on the podcast.
Yeah,
and
they're looking
everyone's
forward to it.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Yeah.
How's he doing? Like, everyone loves you. It's not, it's not even.
Look forward to a lot of views,
Now, let's
man.
not get carried away and say everybody. Come on, I know better than that.
So to end this on a little lighthearted note, what's your favorite food, man? Do you got any places you want to shout out here that you have a go-to place? Anything. Well, this is technically called our 805 Eat segment, but
Oh, I like me some. I like me some members when I can afford it.
Yeah, right.
That's always.
I know. Yeah.
I've been there one time. And I got quail.
Yeah. It's good.
It was
What's
all
that?
right. It was all right.
Yeah.
It's-
No,
'cause-
quail's cool.
Okay.
I figured I was there, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try something different.
Yeah.
Like it was like deep fried quail, and it came with like this tomato soup. It was all right. The quail I wasn't my first choice. I probably wouldn't get it again, but I could say I tried it and did it. But the soup, man,
Quail's pretty
just
good.
a basic freaking tomato soup, and it was like some of the best soup I ever had.
Really?
Oh yeah. I definitely like Ember. It's definitely a spot me and the wife will go for sure.
It's definitely a different place.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah.
different. It's kind of like a Mason bar type deal. The food over at Mason Bar is like it's
Yeah.
That's good too.
It's
Yeah.
different. They have a different. It's not just your standard, burger, burrito, whatever else you get, steak.
Yeah, you're not sure. You could try something different over there.
Yeah.
It is different dishes, and honestly, I can say it myself. Sometimes I don't usually like different dishes. Like,
Usually you get what you want, and you usually get what you get.
But expand the horizons a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes, those are the places you go. You pay a little bit, but hey,
It's all right.
Hey, us wrestlers like food. I'm telling you that.
Yeah,
when you can
absolutely.
eat it, right, or when it's appropriate.
I appreciate it. You wouldn't. I mean, when times get tough, and I'm just like I'm drinking water, and I'm going, oh, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Right. I've had worse.
Well,
My
Mr.
lips
Dansby,
aren't chapped.
Yeah.
My mouth's dry. Come on, make it.
We want to thank you, absolutely thank you for spending time with us, shooting the breeze a little bit with the boys. We're stoked to have you on,
Yeah,
man.
it's
And
been a pleasure, man,
this
getting to
was
know you.
This was a great, fun conversation, and hope you found it as fun as we did.
Oh, this is great. It's fantastic. Love you guys. You know that. And
Yeah.
Always.
it's nice not yelling at you guys.
It's a little something different for a change.
Yeah. And everyone else
Something
out there.
different.
Yeah, you could find us on Stitcher. You could find us on iHeart, on Facebook, on
Apple Podcasts,
Spotify.
Instagram.
Give us a review. Give us a like. Comment what you liked, what you didn't like. It's all good, man. It's all love here. And we will see you on this next podcast.
Yep. First show of 2021.
Yes.
Down.
Hey, and I will say this next podcast we have for you is going to be a treat. So be ready.
Yes. Is this Garage Gang out right now?
Let's do it.
All right. Garage Gang out, baby.
Oh my gosh, that was terrible.
We haven't done that in a long time, but yeah.
GG's out.
Well,